You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Now this whole controversy with regards to Olympian Gwen Berry. She, of course, made the American Olympic team. She's a hammer thrower, made the Olympic team, and she took issue. She turned her back on the American flag as the national anthem was being played in the U.S. Olympic trials. She was draped in a black T-shirt over her head that said "activist athlete." Now, Republicans, oh my God, they've been losing their mind. Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw said she should be kicked off the Olympic team. Really? I thought y'all were against cancel culture. The issue came up at the White House press briefing. This is what Press Secretary Jen Psaki had to say.
This weekend, Gwen Berry, who hopes to represent the United States as an Olympian on the hammer throwing events, won a bronze medal at the trials, and then she turned her back on the flag while the anthem played. Does President Biden think that is appropriate behavior for someone who hopes to represent Team USA?
Well, Peter, I haven't spoken to the president specifically about this, but I know he's incredibly proud to be an American and has great respect for the anthem and all that it represents, especially for our men and women serving in uniform all around the world. He would also say, of course, that part of that pride in our country means recognizing there are moments where we are, as a country, haven't lived up to our highest ideals. And it means respecting the right of people granted to them in the Constitution to peacefully protest.
Well, now, Teresa, again, boy, these conservatives are really upset with Gwen. She's got them in a tizzy.
Gwen is exercising her constitutional right as an American, and I think there is no stage other than the present one that she has worked hard for, that she has prayed for, and that she has made it to, where I believe she was the only one in the league that was an African American woman in that space. So if she decided, to take a knee or to put a T-shirt up to say this is what America is right now, as we say our American flag, it is what it is. And I think, we all should continue to support her. And I think the conservatives are really just upset because they, as much as they want to treasure the national anthem, I think that they also want to disguise it, that America is doing everything, right, when, again, we have to really call it what it is. There's racism in America, there's a divide in America, and then peace needs to happen, but I think that happens when everybody gets on board.
Well, Ben, they are really upset. But again, these are the same people who love the Second Amendment, but they always skip that first.
Unless it's, them using it, right? Exercising their right to free speech and to protest. And they even pushed their right to protest all the way to treason and marching up the steps of the Capitol on January 6th. So I want to make sure that we really, and everyone really considers what this proposition is that they're offering us. They're saying as white, angry conservative men in this country, you have the right to protest all the way to the point of revolution. You have the right to revolution, but as a black person, you don't have the right to take a knee. You don't have the right to put a turn your back on a national anthem who has some verses in there that are not conducive for the black experience.
And here's what's interesting to me. What's interesting to me, Mustafa, if you could pick up on this here, I'm going to show you this. I want to show you, to me, the contrast that exists when we talk about what's going on here. This here is an image. This is Gwen Berry on the left, but you see the folks on January 6th on the right. And who stands with the people on the right? Guess what? Republican Party. And also, I also thought, Mustafa, they said, support the veterans. Gwen's a veteran.
I mean, Gwen's a shero. Let's just call it out. She's a shero in a long line of sheroes and heroes who have been sports figures who have been willing to stand up and do the right thing. This is not the first time that Gwen has called out the injustices that continue to happen inside of our country. So, when you have these folks, as Ben said so aptly, who will forgive, dismiss, pretend as invisible the things that happened on January the 6th, but will very quickly hone in on any athlete or entertainer or others who are willing to call out where the gaps are in our society and saying, fix them. They're not saying that they hate our country. They're saying that they want our country to live up to its ideals, to live up to the words that you place on a piece of paper, and then you tout to the rest of civilization across our planet about how great we are. So she's calling out that fact that there are still injustices that are happening, and that we have to do something about it, because she has a platform along with others, other athletes and entertainers who have a platform as well, who are saying that it is our people who are dealing with the injustices that are happening from police brutality. It is our communities that are dealing with healthcare issues and housing issues and and the wage disparities that exist. So she is doing what she feels in her heart of hearts is the right thing to do. And there are so many people who support her because she's not using violence. She didn't grab the flag and beat a police officer with it. She just said that at this moment in history, I need you to do better. And this is my way of putting a spotlight on needing you to do better.
But see, but the thing, I want to bring in Howard Bryan with ESPN. Howard, you covered the Colin Kaepernick story, and Howard, I thought they kept telling us that this is disrespecting veterans when you do this. She's a vet. I'm just saying. I would think the person who wore the uniform to protect the flag and protect what it means might have a good understanding of what she's doing.
Yeah, I think that after a while, when you look at these types of stories and you see them there, that's why I always just call it Gaslight Nation, right? There's no sense to it. It doesn't make any sense. We know exactly what it's all about here, and we know that the bottom line here is that there's a capital here that that this opposition uses in order to benefit themselves. It doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. I think that one of the things that gets me about this, Roland, and you and I have talked about this, is that I'm concerned about where athletes are, and I'm happy that Gwen Berry is doing what she's doing to a certain extent, even though some of it feels, it just feels, I don't want to say hopeless, but it feels like I'm not quite sure I get where the end game is with this, because it's become so obvious that there's no dialogue involved on the other side. But I worry about the athletes, because last year when Jacob Blake got shot in Kenosha, what happened? The athletes went to Barack Obama and he told them to be citizens. And they went back to work, and they went in and they did all the right things, and they set up the voter drives, and they doubled down in Georgia, and they did all the things that citizens are supposed to do, and they won. And then what happened? Then you get January 6th, which is a direct slap in the face, not just to the ideals of the democracy and all those highfalutin ideals or questions. It's also a direct slap in the face to the athletes. It's a direct response to them, to what they did. And so I'm really interested in seeing how they continue to play this out when it's obvious now, and it was just as obvious it was before, that there's no dialogue to be had here. It's a fight.
It absolutely is a fight. It is one that you make that point about them going to Obama, and this is why, frankly, I think on issues like this, you don't go to people like Obama. Okay, I'm serious, because the bottom line is,
I know I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's true.
The bottom line is, Obama also told a lot of the activists in Ferguson, to be patient, and they're like, no, hell no, we've been patient long enough. And look, he is a part of the establishment, and the reality is he is no longer a community organizer. Okay, he's not. He's a politician, and they don't like heat. They don't like pressure. And I think really what has to happen here, you've got to have athletes who are aligning with people who this is what they do. I dare say, if you are an athlete and if you're trying to decide who you want to meet with for guidance, don't go talk to President Barack Obama. Go talk to Reverend Dr. William J. Barber. The Puerto Rican campaign.
100%.
That's who you go talk to.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the reasons why one of the other concerns that you have with this movement, if you want to call it a movement, is let's, instead of broadening our definitions of activism, let's narrow it. Let's narrow that definition of activism, because I make a clear distinction between empire and activism. I think what you're seeing a lot of with the players now is conflating the two, that, okay, if you buy a team, that's activism. If you have more connection to the society at large, if you align yourself with Bob Kraft, that's activism. Or if you buy a piece of the Boston Red Sox, as LeBron did, that somehow puts you in the Muhammad Ali category. No, it moves you further away from that category. The question that, you and I have been talking about this for years has been, what happens when the protester becomes the power? And in some of the cases, the athletes are becoming the power. What are they going to do with that power? Because the separation between the player and the streets is getting bigger and bigger. What are they going to do about it?
Folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Steve got all these jobs, got all this money, got all these awards. He talk about God and the Lord and his wife all the time. So he was over here talking, and his wife was there, and I knew it was his wife, so I walked up behind her and gave her a kiss on the cheek. The projects in Steve came out in about 10 seconds, because he was like, I'm hearing some kissing over here. Who the hell is kissing my wife?
Well, Roland, you leaned into and you was doing here just to aggravate me, and I heard it out my ear, and I went, okay, man, I don't know who this brother is, but Essence is about to be different. And I spun, and it was the ignorant Roland Martin messing with me. But hey, man, you know how I feel about that girl. So it was quite interesting, and I had to apologize because the CEO of Essence was standing right there, and me and Roland almost turned the festival out. It would have been quite different.
Now, speaking of turn the festival out, we also are always on our pocket square game. Always.
Now, I got to give Roland credit. We always battling each other for the different looks. Pocket squares are something we kind of specialize in. We try to make it. This is topping the game right now. This I've never seen. I will be stealing this look. As soon as I find the people from out of this country that he bought this stuff from, and I get a proper email, I'll be sending to China or wherever he bought Japan or Yugoslavia, wherever they made this, and I will be looking. That is hot. I got to give it to you. That's the best pocket square I've ever seen.
Now, last piece. Steve is a big golfer. I'm a big golfer. So when we gonna have this golfing brothers thing?
See, Roland, you're trying to talk me into something that you've been doing a lot longer than I. See, you've been playing golf since college.
I took it as my PE at Texas A&M in '87.
See, right there, I picked up golf after Tiger won the Masters. And then I bought a set of clubs and played with a custom set of clubs for 5 years without a lesson. I can't tell you the bad stuff I've ingrained into this swing. I just now started going over the top. I just cut that out. So, and I'm playing good though. I'm playing good for me. Well, what's your best score?
77.
That'll never happen here.
Well, Rodney Green is working with him. He's our good friend as well. But
77. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm taking a full page ad out in the USA Today.
All right, folks, don't forget this Friday, the virtual festival, Essence Fest Live Loud Virtual Festival begins this Friday. You can go to essencestudio.com, essence.com. The virtual festival will take place Friday through Sunday, and then, of course, it takes place again next weekend, July 2nd through the 4th. On Monday, we're going to have On Monday, we're going to have a recap of the first weekend of the virtual festival. And then, of course, on July 5th, we're going to have a recap of the second weekend.